The Checklist Manifesto is by best-selling author and skilled surgeon Atul Gawande. Gawande combined his great storytelling and a very simple and effective method of checklists in this short, quick, and easy book. The thing I loved the most about the book, and what I think the single greatest thing that you can learn from this book is, don't get smarter than yourself. Don't think you're smarter than you really are, okay? When we are experienced, when we have been doing something for a long time and we have put many, many hours into it, we can get a bit sometimes proud of ourselves or arrogant, and we tend to have some oversights. So Atul went to the construction industry and the aviation industry, which are both very, very complex areas of business. And he was like, hey, you guys are doing really complex things, but like hardly anyone's dying and no planes are crashing and no buildings are falling down. What's going on? Because he was comparing it to in his surgery operating room and in the hospitals where there's fucking people dying all day, every day. And he actually implemented the effective method of checklists from the construction and the aviation industry into a hospital. And in 3 months, the deaths plummeted by 47% in 3 months because fucking doctors and nurses, they forget to wash their hands. They leave a fucking sponge in the patient. They leave a scalpel. They don't have enough blood at the start. So think about this. A surgeon goes to school for fucking 10 years, dedicating their entire life to learning as much as they can. Now, because they have a few biases and they think that, we all know surgeons, they get a bit, I'm king of the world sort of mentality. They think that they can't make any mistakes. Now, if you think you can't make any mistakes, you've gone beyond your realistic expectations for yourself. You're too proud, you're arrogant, you're over-exaggerating, you're over-inflating yourself, because everyone, no matter who you are, no matter how experienced, how skilled, how much authority you have, we are all still capable of making mistakes. And the whole point of the Checklist Manifesto is to create a system, a checklist that you can hold yourself accountable to, or for other people, if you're running a business or you have a family or whatever's going on, hold yourself and others accountable to not making any possible human errors. If we avoid human errors, we can stay focused, we can make clearer decisions, we're less emotional, we're more grounded, we're more structured, we're more logical, and we're going to be more effective and more efficient. And the thing is, when you have a checklist and you're following it, if you want to improve productivity or find out where bottlenecks are or any problems are, you can actually just go through your own checklist. You can either add things, you can remove things, you can tweak things. Now, he talks about in the book, there's little things that you'll want to go through to optimize your checklist. Things like make sure you have a pause point. Okay, so if I have a checklist in my morning routine, my pause point will be right after I have my coffee. Okay, I had my coffee. Now what do I do? Oh, okay, I've got the kids to brush their teeth. Okay, pause. What's next on the checklist? Get dressed, have breakfast, get in the car. Whatever it is, whether you're a parent getting your kids to do something, you're a student wanting to study, you're a doctor, or you're a pilot about to take off in a plane with a bunch of people. Let me ask you, would you want to get on a plane where the pilot isn't using a checklist, or do you want to get on the plane where the pilot is using a checklist? Checklists stop you from making stupid human errors. When you have certainty that you're not going to make any errors and you can hold yourself accountable and make sure that you're completing everything that you want to complete, it creates less emotion in the mind. Certainty, that's the key word here. The more certain you are, the more focused you are. Humans are very emotional creatures. if we haven't had enough sleep, if we've had a breakup, if we've, our body is dealing with something, we're injured, if our families, something's going on with the family. Usually, most of the time, there's going to be something going on within a 3-month period. You're going to have at least one stressful event. Now, if you're doing something every day, you might be fine 89 days out of 90. But what happens on that 90th day? If you're a surgeon, you go in, you could fucking kill someone. Now, if you do want to achieve at a very high level and you want to take your productivity to beyond your current level, we need to do things that are out of our comfort zone, things that are going to free up the mind, free up any sort of decision, free up thinking power. And if you're doing something and you're thinking, even for a second, do I need to do that? Have I done that? What if I don't do this? There's all these questions and uncertainty and emotion that's floating around in the brain, which builds up and compounds into being less productive and more reactive and more. We want to be certain. We want to be grounded. We want to be focused. We want to be decisive when we're trying to optimize our productivity. Okay, so that is what I got from the checklist manifesto. Is use a fucking checklist. So one thing to finish on. Now, he doesn't talk about it in this book, but I got this from my mentor, John DeMartini. If you or others don't want to use a checklist and don't want to hold yourself accountable, then the thing you're writing a checklist for is not of high value to you. You don't want to do it. You don't love doing it. If someone loves their work and he asks them, hey, could you do a checklist of getting all these top 3 things done for the day? And they love it, they'll want to do it. They'll want to hold themselves accountable. They love the challenge. If you want to improve your fitness and you want to do a checklist for your week, that's, again, guys, a checklist can be daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, a life. You can have a fucking checklist for your life, people, right? So don't get in this box of, checklist has to be it or has to be. No. A checklist can be anything you want it to be. So imagine you're wanting to improve your health, but you hate it. You don't like the gym, you don't like food, you don't like sleep, you don't like meditating, but you're like, I'm going to do a checklist. If you don't actually connect to the goal that you have the checklist for, you're not going to want to do the checklist. So that's probably the most important thing if you are going to do a checklist, is make sure that before you do the checklist, it's a goal that inspires you, that is connected to your soul, that makes you grateful, that makes you want to challenge yourself, and something that you really love, that you want to pursue and grow and expand. And that way, not only are you getting the benefits of a focused, proactive, calm, and certain mind whilst you're taking your daily actions, you're also going to push all the blood, glucose, and oxygen to the forebrain, the executive center, where you can forward think and forward plan and really just compound and build up momentum and just take greater and greater actions faster and faster. And you're wiring those circuits in the brain to focus at one action at a time, because we can only focus on one thing at a time. And that's where we can go wrong with human errors, is if we're thinking of too many things at once and we forget to wash our hands before going into the operating room. So that is the Checklist Manifesto. It's a great, simple, easy read. Highly recommend it. And subscribe.